talk about Australia and the indigenous parts of Australia, which are the original inhabitants of the Australian continent and nearby islands, the Aborigines. The Aboriginal indigenous Australian migrated from Africa to Asia around 70,000 years ago and arrived in Australia around 50,000 years ago. The Torres Strait Islanders are indigenous to the Torres Strait Islands, obviously, which are at the northmost tip of Queensland near Papua New Guinea. Um, and they have very distinct tribal makeup, as you will see in a lot of the, if you go into any kind of research for this particular area. The term Aboriginal has traditionally been applied to indigenous inhabitants of mainland Australia, Tasmania, and other adjacent islands. Aboriginal body painting is an old tradition that has been carried out for thousands of years. As with other aspects of Aboriginal culture, the body paintings varied depending on the tribe and where in Australia each tribe lived. So there's different kinds of body decorations. In Australia, Aboriginal people use different types of body decorations such as body painting, face painting, ornaments, feathers, and scarring, believe it or not. All of those were more than just art. They all had a significant meaning and that related to the laws, religions, and conventions. They were a means of communication. They showed what age and status the person had and what relationship the person had with her family group. Different symbols were used in body painting, which told a lot about the person. Combinations of symbols could tell a story. A person couldn't just go and change his or her paintings. They were very significant to what each person stood for. So the people didn't paint themselves. It was actually a task of a relative, so they would never do it on themselves. There was definite spiritual meanings. The body decorations, for instance, vary between different regions, but commonly they all had a deep spiritual significance, and in many cultures they were mainly used during religious ceremonies. During the ceremonies, body paintings and dances together were very indicative of the relationship, and Aboriginal people had with nature, their land, their ancestors, animals, and their environment. Now the colors used also varied between regions. Ochre paints were often used where it was available. So other sources of color was clay, and in some cultures the colors were paired. So for example, yellow and white, pink and red would go together. I had a really great experience. Many years ago, I worked on a Pepsi commercial with Madonna, and there was a segment where they had a man from Australia in an Aboriginal bar drinking Pepsi, and they actually flew an actual Aborigine tribal person to come out, and I actually had the honor to do and learn the tribal makeup especially of his little town and tribe. And it was really interesting, and he showed me ways of doing it, and I did a lot of research, and it was quite interesting what I learned. So I really encourage you all to definitely dive into this. I mean, the more you get into the history of makeup, you will get so inspired and to also create new different things in the modern age of makeup. So this is really, really important, and with all the steps that we just talked about, I mean, you have so much to be inspired by. So definitely check out the Australian heritage.